Click the link in the description for your free Amsoil catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. And lastly, if you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast, this could be your advertising message. Well, good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here. I have a robust lineup of vintage snowmobile entertainment on tap for you tonight, including a live guest who we'll get to here in just a moment. But before we get into all of that, I want to make sure that everything is working properly. So if you can see my face and hear my voice, I'm going to ask you to leave a comment. Please let me know where you're viewing this from and whether you are a first-time viewer or a regular viewer. Now, to our first-time viewers, if this is your first time hanging out with us tonight, I hope you have a good time with us, and I hope you decide to join us here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, this podcast simulcasts to 8 different places across Facebook and YouTube. So wherever you're viewing this right now, just circle back in 1 week's time, and we'll be waiting for you with another episode. To our regular viewers who are here week after week, month after month, and season after season, you guys are the ones who make this possible, and we really, really appreciate that. So let's take a couple of quick comments, and we'll bring our friends on and get the party started. Now, we've got our friend David from Alaska Railroad, regular viewer, says, "Good evening, Mike. Sounds and looks great." And thank you so much for that feedback and for being here. Jim Holbrook, regular viewer from Thetford Center, Vermont, says everything looks good and sounds good. We appreciate that. Also, James Whiteside says, "Loud and clear from Illinois." Outstanding. Thank you. And oh, cool. My good friend Steve Dickinson from Berlin, New Hampshire is in the house tonight. I would love to get you on here one night, Steve, as a guest to look at your Articat collection. We'll get a couple more comments. And then, okay, Robbie Rupp from Pembroke, New Hampshire. Outstanding. Good to see you. Vernon Center, New York, regular viewer. And then we'll take this last one and we'll bring our guests on. Sounds good, Mike. Going to be in shows in Vermont next Thursday. Outstanding. Well, cool deal. All right, so let me switch screens here, bring our friends on, and we will, as promised, get the party started. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Doing good.
Oh, very good.
Good. Now, our guest tonight, I'm going to put him in the center of the screen. He's someone who probably needs no introduction. He's been on this podcast many times, and he is a very, very busy guy in the vintage snowmobile space. In fact, I can't think of anyone busier than he is. Mike Meagher. Do you want to give us a quick synopsis of everything you've got your hand in the vintage snowmobile space?
Oh, yeah. I guess, well, first of all, I've been part, of vintage shows for since like the end of the 1980s. We've been doing a lot of shows, and then, of course, I've raced for many years, which then I raced again when vintage kind of came back. Then we bought the magazine in 2005, the Vintage Snowmobile magazine, and we've been editing that ever since. So, and then in 2013, we started our own race circuit here in central Minnesota, at CMPR, yeah.
Nice. So you are a busy guy. Now, was there more to add to that, or is that that wasn't enough, right?
Oh yeah, well, I guess there is the other stuff like the farm and all that kind of stuff too, but sure. That's kind of like all second though, the snowmobiling.
Nice. Well, cool. Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on tonight. So maybe the best place to start, I know you're involved with Central Minnesota Pond Racing. In fact, you are Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Do you want to tell us what you've got planned for the upcoming season and what some of the things we can expect with that?
Yeah, with CMPR now for 2024, we definitely have a full lineup again. We got 7 consecutive weeks of racing again, and a lot of the same race sites as last year. And before we get too far in it, if it wasn't for my daughter Bobby Joe, it'd be pretty hard for me to do this. She does a lot behind the scenes, but
Sure.
we have a lot of series going on again. We got like the Country Cat Pro Light, Auction Block F500s, Rickard Excavating. We got the T&K Trucking 0 to 300 and 340 Super Mod. And there's more coming on all the time. I think you have one little article I sent. We have for the first time, we're going to have like a series for the single cylinders and the mod relics. And that's going to be kind of a fun deal this year, I think.
Yeah.
What's the name of the towns you show up at?
Yep. If any of you guys have seen Keith Badur's 800 at Eagle River, when he hits the backstretch, that thing just flies. Those guys will be fun to watch each week,
Nice. Now, Rob was asking some of the locations that you'll be at, and I'll pop it on the screen too. I've got the graphic, but yeah, by all means, go down that list. And in fact, I've got. If you're not close enough to read it, I can read the list if you'd like.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. We've got Spicer, Minnesota, January 20th. Sauk Center, January 27th. Butterfield, Minnesota, February the 3rd. Strathcona, Minnesota, February the 10th. Gray Eagle, Minnesota, February 17th. Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, February 24th. And Glenwood, Minnesota, March 2nd. And also there's a tentative date for 440 SM Nationals, January 5th, 6th, and 7th. Oh, we just lost him. Oh, wait. Did we? Oh, sorry. We're struggling with the bandwidth here. Let me see if I can get him back. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. We lost you for a second there, Mike.
Okay.
And I think we're back.
Yep,
but,
I can.
Okay. So Rob, because I can hear you and you can hear me, it sounds like, but I don't think Rob can hear us. Rob, do you want to log back? If you can hear me, do you want to log out and back in and see if that resolves it? Testing 1 2. Can you hear us, Rob? Test 1 2. Okay, good. He's going to log out and back in. Yeah, sorry for the technical issues on that. We are struggling tonight with technical issues, it seems, but that does happen sometimes. But while we're waiting for him to come back on, did you want to expand on that, Mike, as far as those locations and dates? Or
yeah, I mean, all of them are very good race sites. They're all good hosts. And at the last one, Detroit Lakes is actually our championship weekend. And we got some pretty big things in store for that this year, too. I believe we're going to do a Friday night under the lights on the lake.
Yeah.
To finish up the year in Detroit Lakes. That's going to be pretty exciting to race under the lights, for a lot of the drivers. But
that's amazing. Now, Rob, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, good. Good audio both ways. Yes, please continue, Mike. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure his audio was good.
No, that's awesome. And one thing I want to talk about a little bit tonight is, is our live stream. We started live streaming like 4 years ago. The last couple of years now, it's really, the live stream has been very good for us. We get reach a lot of people and get to see us race. If there's anybody out there that would like to advertise a live stream, you get to get yourself in front of a lot of people. It broadcasts worldwide. And I think, Mike, you replayed some of our races a couple times,
Absolutely. I do that quite often. They always get a lot of views. Absolutely. In fact, I've got a graphic that shows how you can find it online. There is a link in the description, but at the bottom of the screen there, if you want to take a closer look at that, just pause this later after the podcast, and you can write down that web address and go to that location where you can bookmark that. That's where they regularly simulcast those races. And here's some other places where at the bottom of the screen there where it says where to watch. It talks about the different places where they send that out. And it is an excellent advertising opportunity. for someone who'd like to get in front of those people.
Yeah, like the day of the race when we live stream, you get approximately, depends on every plow break we do our, run our ads. So you get approximately 8 30-second ads. And then those also go on demand, that the ads stay. And then they turn around the following week, they put it on the Minnesota cable TV network, which goes out to 200,000 people,
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of exposure, and it's only $400 per race. I mean, that's 8 30-second ads for $400. So that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's a heck of a deal for sure. And we do have comments coming in. Did you have more to add to that thought, Mike, before we start taking comments? Or
let's take some questions. That'd be good.
All right. And while we're doing that, while I'm getting into the screen for that, I would like to encourage our viewers to please light up our comment section with comments and questions for Mike.
What's the biggest class you have, Mike?
What size track?
No. What's the biggest class you have?
Oh, the biggest class is Pro Light.
Pro Light.
We race everything from vintage single cylinders up to the late model Pro Lights.
Nice.
And as far as numbers go, like the F500s would be the largest. We have about 30 F500s each weekend, each Saturday.
That's a good entry list.
Yeah.
Yeah. We usually have about 125 to 130 drivers a day,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And approximately 350 to 400 entries.
And I know in the past when we've talked about this, you mentioned the way you've structured the entry fees makes it very accessible to a lot of racers. Did you want to go over that real quick on how that's set up?
Yeah. Our business model is a little different. That we go out and we kind of get our boots in the ground, and we get enough support, through sponsorship to actually run our organization. And then the drivers only pay $40 entry fee, but then they can race as many classes that they have a legal sled for. So they pay $40 one day, and we got some series that pay up to $1,500 in a 3-race series to the winner. So it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's a great way to structure that for sure. Yeah, let's take some comments real quick. We've got Robbie Rupp from Pembroke, New Hampshire in the house. We've got some. It's funny, it says Facebook user sometime. I think they're on a Facebook group, but it says, "Good evening, Mike, regular viewer from Vernon Center, New York." Outstanding. Also, sounds good. Going to be, we looked at that one already, but yeah, that is great news. Now, James Whiteside is talking about, apparently John D has passed. Does anybody know anything about that? This is the first I hear of that. He said, "Sad day today, the announcement of John D passing." Yeah, I'm not sure who that is. If you could fill us in a little more on that, James, we'd appreciate that, especially if it's someone associated with vintage snowmobiles. Reese Fleury is one of our regular viewers, Tupper Lake, New York. We appreciate you being on, Reese. Also, David from Alaska Railroad says, "Good evening to Rob and Mike Meagher." Appreciate that. Also, Old Ski Dude 2 says, "Good evening, fellas. Reese Fleury." Cool deal. Bill Nelson says, "Can't wait. CMPR rocks." Cool deal. Cool deal. Getting some validation here. This is wonderful. Stacy and Art Fosler, regular viewers from Platkill, New York, are in the house. David from Alaska Road, I think he has a question for Mike. He says, "I used to ice race in Winona, Minnesota in the late 80s. He says, "Do you recall those races?" Do you have any memory of that, Mike?
No, I don't know if I do or not. I mean,
sure.
The name does sound familiar, though, but that's getting to be late 70s, a long time ago. And I'm getting old, So.
Yeah, because he was talking specifically about Winona, Minnesota in the late 80s.
Yeah, I guess our last tracks right around us up here were more like an 81. And then I went into speed running for quite a few years where I didn't race on the oval track. So I might have, if he was racing snowcross or ovals at that time, I might not have run across him.
Gotcha. Well, cool. Yeah, and then Reese Fleury.
So you still race yourself and also run the series?
I don't race anymore. 2009. I quit racing in 2009. And then I sat on the board of Oval Racers Alliance for a couple of years, and then we started our own circuit. My daughter and I did. So in 2013.
Nice.
My grandkids still race. All my grandkids are racing now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And then we've got Pierre Jensen in the house. He's saying he's raced with CMPR since the beginning, and it's always a good time. Do you know Pierre?
Oh yeah, very well. Pierre's a great guy, and his brother Rudy actually put $1,000 in our F-Stock program for this year too. So
wonderful.
Thanks for that.
That is very generous. That is wonderful. And then Rick and Katrina Dumont out of Albion, Maine says, thank you for the show. Appreciate you being in the house. Oh, and here's some detail here. So as far as John D., he was the meteorologist from the UP in Michigan. Something about the snow web, very well known in the snowmobile community. Yeah, that is sad news to hear of his passing for sure, and we appreciate you filling us in on that. We appreciate that. But well, cool. That's it. We're caught up on the comments. Rob, did you have more questions for Mike? Or
What did you race when you raced, Mike?
And my hearing's not great, so I'm gonna have to get a little closer. But
did you race when you raced, Mike?
Yeah, I raced a lot of ovals, and always Arctic Cats. I was kind of an Arctic Cat guy. Yeah, and I've still got some of my old Z's that I had originally back in the day, and we raced those when Vintage came back. I did race one Yamaha 77 SRX on the ovals too for like 9 years, I think.
I have a 340 at my backyard.
Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, they're the thing is about the SRX motor is just they're fast, and you have to spend a lot of money on an Arctic motor in that era, to keep up. And in 2009, I won the 440 Supermod at the World Championship with that sled too. So.
Oh, nice.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And let me see what else I've got here. Did we have any more on racing? Because at some point I'm going to shift gears to the magazine that you published. But if we've got more on the racing, I'd like to continue. Was there any more?
Not a lot. I guess I would just like to, thank all of our sponsors that have helped us out for the last 11 years. The racers, our racing group is probably one of the best groups that anybody could ever be part of. They're just so supportive and fun. We have a great time like every Saturday. And even though they're fast, we have some very competitive drivers. And of course,
you guys only race the one day?
Yeah, we only 1 day races. We race just Saturdays.
Okay.
We used to do 2-day races, and we were kind of burning out our drivers by doing, just too many hotel rooms, too many days away from the family. So in 2013, we went back to just a 1 day race, and it was definitely the right move.
And a 2-day race is hard on the track.
Yeah, and we race all in lakes, so but we do have a shaver. We got Tim the Shaver Man who does an awesome job, but you can only do so much. We race about 90 to 95 races a day, on that track. So yeah, it gets beat up and grooved in pretty good.
People don't believe that a lake will freeze in waves.
Oh yes,
yeah,
it does. If we didn't have a shaver, it'd be tough to be racing on lakes.
Yeah, people think a lake is perfectly smooth when it freezes. No, it doesn't. There's waves out there.
Yeah, it could be very rough, especially with the Leaf Spring 440 sleds. Without a shaver, I think they would be off the ground as much as on the ground, or on the water, I should say.
Yeah. Sure. And Rob, continue, please. If you have more questions, by all means.
I'm thinking.
Sure. That's
when I raced the SRX, my biggest problem was the Merc twisters.
Yeah,
the Merc went in. They were on the inside, outside of me, but by the end of the straight, I was ahead of them. But then went in the corner again, they were beside me again.
Yeah, those twisters are still tough too. They really are. There's a lot of good snow twisters still running yet. But
yeah.
The SRX,
our I-500 is a big class now. We don't have 35 like you do, but I think we got 22 people in that class. It's a stock engine, unlimited class, unlimited chassis, so the guys can have fun building what they like to build. And everybody's running a stock motor, so it makes it pretty competitive.
Yeah, and it's affordable too. I mean, F500s kind of went up a little bit, like all racing does, you know. But we have like the F stock classes and stuff like that too. It's where 96 and older, 440 fan, but in an IFS chassis, you know. That class is really growing right now. I mean, those are pure stock seats, everything. They just come out and put carbides and studs on them, but it's amazing. Those 440 fans are still pretty fast. You know what I mean?
And we have another class for the kids for the F340. So they can build whatever they want, as long as it's a stock 340 motor. So it's getting the kids really involved building stuff.
Yeah, we ran the F340 class through the 2000s with Sleds Racing Series. Yeah. It was basically the same thing. Anything with a 340 motor. And that was a great class, really.
Yeah.
And you have plenty to offer for the juniors with CMPR as well?
Yeah, we have a lot of, juniors. We actually started, we used to race the Kitty Cat 120s, would get like a mission race. But then about 5 years ago, we switched because those little, I don't know if you've ever seen those little 120s, when they modify them, they're very expensive. Yeah. So we started what we call the 10 and under, 85 and older vintage leaf spring class. It's 0 to 340 fan or 0 to 300 free air. So we get like the Yamaha Enticers, the Bravos, 250Zs. And yeah, these young kids, I tell you, they start racing when they're 7 and 8 on a full size sled. I mean, by the time they're 11, I mean, they're a terror on the ice already. You know, it really worked well. I mean, they can race the same sleds then from 11 to 15.
Nice.
So really, you can be 6-7 years on one sled in our circuit, you know.
That's nice. And I would imagine for whoever's footing that bill, that's a lot more cost effective than changing out every couple of years or something.
Right. And we also have that same class, for the women drivers can, race that sled. And so we have a guys class. So the whole family can race one sled.
Yeah.
And that's been a pretty good, we have a lot of juniors. I should have thought about putting a junior picture up. I think last year we had 28 juniors raced with us, I think. But juniors race.
Oh, we lost Rob. Let's see if we can get him back.
Do you have a vet class for Mike?
What's that again?
Do you have a vet or a senior class for Mike?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple of we call them masters classes, but yeah, we have a 0 to 440 super stock, 0 to 440, IFS. And then we have what we call like an IFS open masters class, where they can run pretty much anything up to 500 cc's, like an F500 or anything in a master's class.
Yeah. But what's the age group for that?
Now, 50 and older, which it's a pretty full. A lot of our 50-year-olds race all kinds of races all day long, but they like the master's class too, though.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool. And we've got plenty more comments coming in here. Let's take a look. Okay, so David from Alaska Railroad says, Mike Meagher, what did you race back in the day? And he's hoping that you raced a Polaris Starfire at some point.
I did race a 340 Starfire like in 1979 and 80 at the last snow tracks that were left in Princeton, Minnesota. And by Brainerd had a snow track. And then I raced a 340 mod. But mainly I raced a 250Z and a 440Z. And the 75, 76s. Z's nice. Is what I raced mainly at that time.
Yeah.
And what does your grandchildren race?
Yeah, the grandchildren right now, my granddaughter, races what we call junior novice. That's like through the 90s, 340, fan, like the Polaris, Yardy Cat 370 and stuff like that. And then she also races junior F500.
Yeah.
And my grandson races in the 85 and older vintage sleds with a Yamaha. He's got a Yamaha Exciter 340 and he's got a 250Z, 75 250Z.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. And then we've got James Spranger in the house saying good evening to Mike, Rob, and to Mike. And yeah, we appreciate that. He's from Wausau, Wisconsin, by the way.
Good evening.
And then let's see. Oh, Pierre is saying, is start time still 11 o'clock or are we starting earlier? He's wondering.
Now we're going to have all 11 o'clock starts this year.
Nice.
That's a good question.
Yes. And then David from Alaska Railroad says, I miss racing. I still own my Racing Pride, which is his 1980 Polaris TXL. He said that sled would take down 500cc sleds on the drag strip. Cool.
Yeah, that was a fast sled.
Yeah. And then Pierre Jensen is asking if there are any new classes this year.
Now, basically, we're going to be running the same classes that we did last year. Nothing much is going to change. We have a couple specials, like in Butterfield, where we're going to add, like one day we'll have some relic classes that we normally don't have, you know.
Nice. And then also we've got Tucker Braith, who is a junior racer in the house. We appreciate your being on here, Tucker, and we wish you well in your career in racing.
Hi, Tucker. He's a good. Tell him, ask him what the old man said. He should be out working on sleds, you know.
Nice. That's cool that we have him in the house, and it's cool that you know him too. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these sleds that you have from yesteryear, the racing sleds, at some point, Mike, would you ever consider coming on for some show and tell with those sleds?
No, I could probably do that. I've got a lot of older pictures and stuff like that we could do sometime. And
that would be fun. Yeah. And do you have them in a barn where maybe there's some good lighting or something where we could do like a walk around of the actual sleds or on a future episode?
Yeah, they're all pretty much stored together right now. Sometimes they're all spread out in different trailers if I take them to shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But right now they're all pretty much together. We could do something like that probably.
That would be a blast. Yeah, let's talk about that after the podcast and figure out a time to do that could work for everyone. And
sure.
then Tucker is also saying, he's talking about his dad. He's out working on the sleds right now, and we're listening while working. Cool. So they're listening to the podcast while they're working on the sleds. Very cool.
No cheating.
And then someone also on Facebook is asking, what is a Relic Mod single motor and chassis?
Now the Relics are 71 and older, and it's basically the Relic Mod. The rules are on the ISR page for those. But they don't race them in a lot of places anymore, and that's why we're trying to bring them back, kind of. They're like the 72 Starfire to 71 Polaris. And, you know, like the EXTs, remember like the Arctic Cat EXTs that look like a Puma?
Yes.
The King Cats. So, yeah, they're cool sleds to see back out on the track, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and then someone is saying they see a lot of trophies behind you, Mike. Any quick comments or stories about some of those trophies? That's from back in your racing day, I presume?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of them that are behind me here. If I knew I wouldn't screw the phone up, I'd probably show you my most prized one, you know, but I was very lucky. I'm very fortunate through the years. The ones I kept in here now in my little man cave are the ones that were kind of special to me for some reason. It was either the place I raced or the people I was with, stuff like that, you know.
A lot of good memories associated with those.
Oh, yeah.
What was your favorite track you went to, Mike?
You know, some of my favorite tracks was the Strathcona track in Strathcona, Minnesota. That's the longest consecutive running race, second to Eagle River. You know, and of course, Eagle River was always fun place. I should definitely ain't got nothing bad to say about that, but it's pretty serious when you go to the World Championships, you know.
Yeah.
Strathcona was always a good time, man. I just was very lucky, and then sometimes I'd enter 6 classes, I'd have 6 wins, you know. So
nice. Yeah, that is amazing. And then we've got David from Alaska Railroad asking Tucker, what are he and his father working on in the way of sleds? This is cool. We get some conversation going back and forth here. This is cool. And so we're going to wait for a response on that. And in the meantime, we've got our good friend Josh Levicker in the house from Turin, New York. we'll be having Josh Levicker on sometime in December for some show and tell of his sleds. And then Chuck Derby is in the house. He said the Derby racing team is looking forward to another great ice oval race season with CMPR. Cool.
Hi,
deal.
Chuck. Yeah, Chuck and Sean are great people. They got nice sleds too.
Nice.
And again, Chuck is also the sponsor of the Sportsman 600 series this year with Derby skis. So
yeah. Nice. Oh, and here we've got a response here. Tucker says they're doing some tuning on their 72 Vigilante Viking. Yeah.
I don't know what
Very
that is,
cool.
Mike.
yeah, it's a cool sled. I mean,
Oh, a
I
Viking.
don't know if
Okay.
they to put a picture of it up or not, but yeah, it's the 71 Viking. It's a single cylinder mod sled, and it's very cool sled. And actually, they did very well with it last year. They won quite a bit with that sled. You know, so.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, cool. So yeah, let's did we have any more on racing, the CMPR racing before we switch gears?
I think I'm good. For somebody else has some questions.
If we think of anything later too, we can always circle back to it too. So it's not like it's final for the rest of our lives or anything. But let's see. Oh, before we switch gears to the magazine, we do want to talk about AMSOIL for a few minutes. Then we'll start talking about the VSCA magazine. And if you're ready, Rob, we'll put you full screen. And
Sure.
all right.
Sure.
And I've got graphics of those promotions that are on too, if you need that for some support.
Yes. Every week we talk about the AMSOIL promotion, and as you can pay $10, become a preferred customer, buy everything directly from AMSOIL. And every time you order something, every month they have something different. They had the AMSOIL rags the one night. Oh, where'd I put the funnel? Yeah. AMSOIL funnels, the screwdrivers. But this time, if you order $49 of AMSOIL from AMSOIL, you get your choice of having a gas additive product, the PI, cleans the injectors and all that, or the diesel fuel all-in-one product for diesel applications. Now, the best possible way is to buy AMSOIL as a preferred customer. Say you're looking at buying the Interceptor oil, since we're talking about snowmobiles. 4 of these big ones in a case retails for $205. As a preferred customer, you order directly from AMSOIL for $145, and they ship it right to your door free. Best way to buy AMSOIL is become a preferred customer. And last week we talked about you don't always have to buy a full case. Say you wanted two jugs of small engine oil, you wanted a 20W50 motorcycle oil, or one of our new containers. I call them toothpaste containers, filling up rear end 75W90s. Just you squeeze 100% of the fluid out. Trying to fill up a rear end of a car with a bottle like this makes it awful hard. Even if you got the pump on it, you're trying to hold the bottle, you're trying to pump and keep the line in the rear end. This is so much easier, this new squeeze tube AMSOIL has out. So if you want to know the best possible way to buy AMSOIL, Mike has a link you can click on to sign up as a preferred customer for only $10. One of the promotion they also have right now on for the next week is every time you buy $100 worth of AMSOIL, they give you a $5 coupon. And this time they're going to double the coupon. So if you buy $100 worth of product, you're going to get a $10 coupon. And in 6 months' time, they're going to send you a letter to renew. It's $20 to renew. If you put 4 orders in, that covers your cost of your membership. So if you get one of these catalogs from Mike, most people show it to 2 or 3 of their friends. And inside the catalog, they don't hide it. They put the prices of the product right in there, how much the retail is and how much a preferred customer price is. So that way you can order directly from AMSOIL, have it shipped right to your house, get the best possible discount available.
Yeah, it's an amazing value for sure. And there's links in the description, especially if you're ready to get started and join that preferred customer program. Just click that link in the description, a couple of clicks to sign up for that program, and then start shopping, and everything that you add to your cart will come up at the deepest level of discount. And once you hit that $100 mark, it's free shipping. It's an incredible value. And one more quick announcement before we get back to the VSCA magazine. Our good friend, Midge Rosebrook, I was speaking with him earlier today. He said to be sure and say hi to both of you. Midge, by the way, is the founder of the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. So a quick announcement about he and I, we've collaborated together for many years in different ways, but one of our new collaborations is I've set him up today to be able to post in the Vintage Snowmobile Lovers Facebook page. That page has 55,000 plus fans, so it's a huge audience. And as most of you know who view this, he's no stranger to this podcast. He's one of the better historians of snowmobile history here in the East. And he's going to be posting history posts in the Vintage Snowmobile Lovers Facebook page. So if, in fact, he posted one earlier today. So if you jump on there and scroll down, you'll be able to find it. And he'll be doing that pretty regularly here throughout. And that's something we can all look forward to. So please, if you like him or if you like snowmobile history, definitely look for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, so with announcements out of the way, we'll get back to, let me pop a graphic on the screen to set this up. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. And did you want to kind of set the stage for that, Mike, and tell us a little bit about that?
No, sure. And right before I start that, is for the AMSOIL guys, I got one little plug here too. I've been riding Harley since I was 15 years old. And you know, anybody know, especially the old shovel heads, how they shift kind of hard? Drain the old stuff out, you put AMSOIL gear lube in it, they'll shift as smooth as can be. That is true. I mean, it works. And the squeezable bag, actually, like you had there, that thing is the way to put your fluid in your tranny of a Harley. I mean, I use it all the time. Yes. It's great stuff.
Thank you.
Now, magazine, yeah, our December issue just got out. I think most everybody should pretty much have it right now. And again, we'll maybe start back. You know, we bought the magazine. I was a subscriber to the magazine, and then you know, I don't know, when Terry Huffman, you know, he sold it. He was going to quit. The magazine was gone for 2 issues, and I missed it so bad. I went down, I bought the rights from him, and started producing the magazine. You know, so, and we've been doing it ever since. So,
that's
getting to be a while. Busy enough before.
Yeah. And then
go ahead. I'm sorry.
In 2006, we started the VSCA National Show. And when we did that first show, we really didn't know if there was going to be a second national show. But yeah, we're all the way up to our 20th now. And we're 3 years ahead. Next year, we'll be in Duluth, Minnesota, actually, right near me. So, and then on to Buffalo, New York the year after. So it's going very well. The shows have been, these people that do these show sleds nowadays, I tell you, they're just, it's unreal, the workmanship and the time these guys put in those things, you know. Not a lot different than the racers. I mean, they work just as hard, you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And you and I have been fortunate to meet in person at a couple of those shows. We met at Lancaster, I think it was 2016 or 17. And then we met 2022 in Old Forge.
Yeah, Old Forge was a great location. That was beautiful country there.
Yes.
It was a fun place for the show, you know.
Yeah, for sure. They did an excellent job. And we got to give a shout out to our mutual friend Ed Stab too. He put on an amazing show with that.
How many different people are there showing their machines?
We had 525 at Old Forge, I think, show sleds. Nice. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal, you know. I'll say we'll have at least that many, a little more in Duluth probably.
Every year, is there a theme for? It's an Arctic Cat this year, Skidoo next year, or something? Or
no, we have pretty much classes. We don't break them down by brand, but we have years. You know, and we have like year breaks and trail, race, that kind of stuff. And then the VSCA champion, national champion, it's the best of all of them that are there that day. It's absolutely the best restored sled. Usually, it's hard to compete with an original with the quality of the restored ones, you know.
Yeah.
And every one we've had so far has definitely been worthy, but there's probably 10 others at the show that are worthy too, you know.
That must be tough to judge, because Mike's had some people on here with like the Rupp guys. Man, how do you judge a machine like that?
Yeah, it's hard.
What you really got to do, guy with all his snow jets, like they're just immaculate condition.
Yeah, it's getting to be so hard to judge now. I mean, it's you almost got to do is have a sheet, and you almost got to go to try to pick somebody's. You got to find something wrong with it, because everybody's got so much right. The only way you can eliminate somebody is to find something wrong, which I That's why I don't like the Judge anymore, because you got to find a speck of rust on their skid frame. You got to find something.
Who
Yeah.
was the guy a couple of weeks ago, Mike, that had the polished clips on the track, chrome clips?
Oh
Yeah.
yes. I'm drawing a blank on that. I know what you mean though. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But it circling back real quick though to Old Forge, the organization of that. I was giving a shout out to Ed Stab. I also need to give out a shout out to Josh Leviker as well, because he was very much a big part of organizing that show, and I know he's in the house watching tonight, so I wanted to be sure and give him a shout out as well. And we've got. Go ahead.
For sure.
Yes. Oh, and we've got comments coming in. Oh, we've got Glenn Ford, who I met at Old Forge. Nice to see you, Glenn. He said he got his magazine yesterday. Great magazine. Yeah, and I got mine, I think, Monday or Tuesday. And I like that it comes with this protective cover, and you peel this back, and you've got the cover of the magazine. And this is real heavy, high-quality, glossy magazine stock all the way through from beginning to end. It's not a cheap magazine, and there's nothing cheap about it. And there's coverage of all kinds of events and snowmobiles, and I don't know if this is doing justice to hold it up like this, but it's a wonderful read. And but yeah, he said he got his magazine yesterday. It's a great magazine. Rick and Katrina Dumont says, correct me if I'm wrong. If I buy 4 gallons of Interceptor, is that $36.50 a jug with free shipping? Did he hear that correctly? Do you have your catalog handy, Rob? Because I've got one, but I don't know if it's current.
I know her price would be $145 as a preferred customer.
Okay. Nice. And if you're curious about that, Rick and Katrina Dumont.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, good. Yeah, click the link in the description if you want to order that direct. And if you have any kind of questions at all, need any kind of assistance, just message me. In fact, let me pop my email address on the screen. Where is it here? Right here. That at the bottom of the screen, that's the best way to reach me if you have any kind of questions on that or need any kind of assistance.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you are going to do a Friday night race.
Yeah, in Detroit Lakes.
Yeah.
They'll light up the track with gen sets, and we'll race under the lights. That'll be our championship weekend. It'll be like a Friday night thunder type thing, or just some extra races, for that night.
Yeah. We went to Northern Quebec one year for a Friday night race, and after the race was done at 9:00 at night, they did a vintage snowmobile parade with over 200 machines going through Main Street. It was quite good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. Nice.
And then we've got David with Alaska Railroad with a question. He says he's hoping to make it to the Vintage Snowmobile Show and Ride in Waconia this winter. Pardon me. And he's wondering, do you know of any vintage rides in that area?
Yeah, actually, the vintage ride, that's one thing we could talk about too, is the vintage riding now it's really picked up. And I know there's the Sunday of Waconia, we have one right in our little town of Grey Eagle, just like 12 miles from me. Yeah. Last year, I think we had 156 sleds went on that little vintage ride, but
wow.
There are 5-6 rides in central Minnesota every weekend,
That's amazing.
Yes, in my territory, there's almost a vintage ride every weekend because the local clubs put it on, and you don't need to buy a trail permit and something like that for the day.
Yeah, so and it's the same in Minnesota. Actually, we get the registers ours free if they're 25 years or older, so.
Yeah.
Nice. And then we've got someone on Facebook commenting about Herb Yancey won People's Choice with that amazing motoski Snow Pro in Old Forge. I think it was like an 81 or an 82, was it? And that was restored by Mark Belanger.
82 updates too, maybe, but it was beautiful sled. Yeah,
it sure was. And I got to give a shout out to our friend Mark Belanger too. He did that restoration. That was really impressive. And then Jim Smith is in the house. He said he's in late, but he is in. Nice to see you, Jim. And Jim was on the podcast here a couple of years ago. Love to have you on again sometime, Jim. We should message behind the scenes and make something like that happen. Oh, and of course, here's a chance for a shameless plug. Reese Fleury is asking, how do we subscribe to the magazine? And there is a link in the description to do exactly that. And I've also got a graphic. Let me find it. And right here, you've got a phone number there, a website, VSCA.com. There's also that phone number on the screen. and it's very much worth subscribing. It's an incredible magazine.
Do you also ship to Canada?
Yes, we have about 260 Canadian, and we have 13 people in Sweden that get the magazine also.
Yeah.
Sweden, nice, very cool. And then Rick and Katrina DeMont, I think they're commenting on the Amsoil thing that we talked about a moment ago. He said that's the best deal around, so he's excited about that. That is wonderful.
And they ship it right to your house.
Yeah, right to your door. Yep. And then, Rudy Jensen is asking, what time will the night race start?
Well, it's probably be 6:30 to 7 o'clock, and it's only going to be probably 10 classes. It'll be like an hour and a half show at night, and that'll be about it. We'll be done by 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Cool. And then Bill Nelson is asking, what did I miss? And Bill, you've missed a lot. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is once the podcast is over, just circle back and watch it from the beginning. That way you'll catch every single minute of it. We've been covering a lot of ground here tonight. So excellent question, by the way. And I do. Did we lose Mike?
He's back.
Oh, he's back.
Nope.
Oh, good. All right.
We just switched places. Oh, now we switch back. Yep.
Yes, musical chairs. Yes. So I wanted to comment on the magazine real quick. It's actually on a sad note, but it's still a positive thing that you're covering in the magazine. When we were doing that Rupp show last week, we were talking about the passing of Mickey Rupp, and in the latest edition of the VSCA Quarterly magazine, they've got a nice obituary in there, and I took the liberty of taking a shot of that. We've got it on the screen here, and if it's okay, I'd like to read that, because that's a very significant personality in the vintage snowmobile space that has passed. I'm trying to get up to the screen here. It says, it's with great sadness that we share the news of the passing of Herbert Edward, also known as Mickey Rupp, founder of iconic Rupp Industries. Mickey died on Sunday, August 20th, 2023. He was 87 years old. Mickey founded the company in the late 50s in his hometown of Mansfield, Ohio. At first, he built go-karts, but he expanded the line to include mini bikes and snowmobiles. We're all familiar with those snowmobiles. The snowmobiles were and are legendary and pioneered many firsts in the industry. Mickey sold the company in 1973. Mickey moved to Canada, and via his hobby of sport fishing, he started Rupp Marine in 1980. After more than 20 years at the helm of Rupp Marine, he retired back to Mansfield, Ohio. He once said in an interview, everything I've ever accomplished, I owe to my dad. He said his dad was a hard-nosed German. He said, you did it right or you didn't do it at all. Many of us can relate to that. Rest in peace, Mickey Rupp. So, Mike, I want to thank you for posting that really nice obituary. It's sad news, but it's nice that you posted that for all of us to be aware of.
I never know he ever did a Marine division.
Same here, yeah. Yeah, so these are the kind of things that you find out in the magazine. Even though it's sad news, it's important news to the vintage community, and this is where you're going to find out about that. You're not going to miss things like that. And there's coverage of all kinds of events. I'm flipping through mine. I'm going to put myself full screen just for a moment and see if I can flip through this and give you some nice full page ads. Let's see. I know this isn't the best angle, but maybe if I do this.
Nice glossy pages.
Yeah, every single page is heavy,
just
glossy
a cheap paper
page.
magazine.
Yeah, for sure. It's not like a pulp magazine at all. And coverage of all kinds of events and stories. This is about an axle that broke on a trailer on the way to a race. And there's that obituary for Mickey Rupp right here. And stop me, Mike, if you see anything that you want to talk about. If there's like an article that you think, like, remember, in fact, last fall we had an interview with these people about the Tripar reunion.
Right. Great people there too. There's tons of history with that group there too.
Yes, that was a wonderful story, wonderful people, and yeah, it just goes on like that with coverage of events and shows, and of course I'm biased, of course, but I've got to show you one real quick. This is coverage. This is an article that our friend Midge Rosebrook wrote about the 2023 Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame induction ceremony that happened in September, and he's got some images there, and And yeah, he did a great job of writing about that. And since I'm kind of mixed up with that, I had to give a quick shout out. And of course, Mike and I do a reciprocation. He does I'm trying to put it in front of the camera. He promotes promotes this podcast right here on the magazine. And of course, I promote him on just about every post I do on the Facebook page and on the podcast. We give a shout out to them at the beginning. But anything I've missed, Mike, or anything you'd like to point out that's worthy of conversation here?
Well, I guess just one thing there again is, thanks for the people that support us with the ads and stuff like that, like Wall Brothers, Country Cats, CPC. Those guys have been with us since we started, and Trackside, Greg, if you need some pipes built for a mod motor, I don't know if there's anybody in the United States better than Greg at Trackside. I mean, he's very good. He does all the Wall Brothers pipes now for the last couple of years of their World Championship race sleds. And he does a good job.
Nice. Yeah, definitely give them a call. And yeah, get some more comments coming in. Jim Smith says, okay, let's set something up. I need to re-up my subscription, he's saying to Mike. Outstanding. So yeah, Jim, let's absolutely email behind the scenes and make something happen. I'd love to have you on the podcast again. And David from Alaska Railroad says, rest in peace, Mickey Rupp. One day I will own one of your amazing Magnums. Cool deal.
Yeah.
But did you have any comments or questions, Rob, that you wanted to ask? Or
Mike, there's one snowmobile I've only seen once at a show one time, and have you ever seen it on the track, the Skidoo Eagle?
Like the Double Eagle?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I've never seen it I've seen it at the national show at West Yellowstone. The Warning's old one that runs, and they actually started it up, and the original driver of the Double Eagle in the speed run was there. I mean, he had an oxygen tank and everything, and he still drove this thing that day. I mean, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
If I the year, it's in the magazine, a picture of him in the magazine, but that was quite the sled, I'm telling you.
That's amazing.
Was never quite as fast as the Arctic Cats, but it was still okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
They went a different way building that one, but
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, last season, I don't know if you caught this episode, Mike, but our good friend Jim Layton up in northern Maine, he had one. I don't think it was his. I think it was a friend of his, but they had a tribute to the Double Eagle. I don't know that it had the two engines, but they had done it up to look like that cab, with the big nose and everything. And it was pretty cool to look at. I don't know if you caught that episode or not, but that was fun.
Yeah.
And then in case people were wondering, I know we posted earlier the dates for CMPR, but I'm going to do that again in case people are wondering, in case people are just joining us. But this is the current schedule for CMPR this season.
you sure don't give people time to repair the machines in between race, do you, Mike?
It's nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
7
cool.
weeks in a row. That's a tough run because what we do, I set up all the race sites too. So when I go to one race site, we kind of tear down on Sunday, and then by Tuesday we're setting up the next race site for that Saturday.
Yeah.
Tear down on Sunday and right back to setting up again. So
Yeah. Well,
great
yeah,
people. So we got some, like I said before, and the CMPR team has just been together now a long time. Everybody knows what to do. Everybody just gets in and gets the job done. And
well-oiled machine, so to speak.
Had to move a lot of snow, but our crew did a great job of doing that.
That's amazing. Yeah, and it looks like you with those many dates, you make the most of your winter. While it's there, you got to make the most of it.
And every Wednesday is my trail riding day.
Your what riding day?
Trail riding.
Trail riding.
I
Nice.
get trail ride every Wednesday, right in the middle if I can.
Very cool. And now we've got a comment that's come in. Bill Nelson is saying 440 trackside motor in the Ski-Doo that he races. He said won King of the Ice and season points in the 600 class last season with it. Very cool.
Yeah. Congratulations, Bill. You ran well. Yeah.
Very cool. Cool. So I can't believe how fast this hour has gone by. We've got 5 minutes left, actually 4 minutes now. Anything we've missed or anything that you wanted to cover, Mike, that maybe that we haven't? Or
Just one thing, if anybody is having a trail ride, like a vintage trail ride, no matter how small, if it's 10, 15, if they take a few pictures, write a little article, and just email it to me at mike@vsca.com, and we'll try to publish it because people really like seeing what other people are doing, restorations, shows. Even though there's a lot of small shows that a lot of times don't get much recognition, and we're always willing to try to help them out,
Yeah, and you're right. It's fun reading about those things.
Yeah,
for sure. And Rob, is there any questions maybe you hadn't asked yet that you would have liked
I'm
to?
heading off this weekend to a show called Sledorama, a small town called Peterborough. It's probably the 45th year for the show.
Yeah.
I seen a picture once, Mike, and I've never been able to find it again. It was a race down the States back in the 1979s or something like that, where Villeneuve, Decker, and everybody's tractor trailer went through the ice. Have you ever seen that picture?
Great Lakes, Minnesota.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't a good day. In fact,
No.
I lived in southwestern Minnesota. At that time, I was running a fixed base operation for aircraft. And I landed here by Sock Center and picked up my dad, and I said, hey, let's go to the races. Well, he said, let's fly over the track before we go to the airport. We went over the track, and I mean, all these semis, just their roofs sticking out.
Yeah.
It was not a pleasant day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been horrible.
It was dark at night, and there's a river comes into the lake. And as they got onto the lake, it started filling up more than they thought overnight. So everybody just started going toward the river to park. Well, then sadly, all the semis went that way, where it was just too much food for the ice.
A lot of weight. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, they went down, and there was 8 or 9 semis went down that same night.
Yeah.
Wow. What an experience. Now we've got some comments coming in. We've got someone on Facebook saying another awesome show. Thank you so much. And thank you that this is another one for you, meaning that you're a repeat regular viewer. We really appreciate that. Also, David from Alaska Railroad is saying great show. Thank you to Mike and Rob. He very much enjoyed the show. And we appreciate your being here each and every week, David. Cool deal. So yeah, we're up against the top of the hour. Time for closing thoughts. Any closing thoughts, Mike?
No, just thanks a lot for having me on again. Thanks, Rob, for being on with me. Definitely. Amsoil's got some great products. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They really do.
I look forward to watching one of your videos this year.
Yeah, and like I said, they are on demand right now. Yet on Cool TV, you can watch all of our races for the last couple of years. Are still there. So.
Yeah. I've wrenched for the last couple of years for a guy with a single cylinder up here in Canada.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Now we got a couple more quick comments. Reese Fleury says, great show. See you next week. And then our good friend Glenn Ford says, great show. Thank you so much. And a quick housekeeping note with the holiday and everything. The next 2 weeks are going to be replays, but we'll be back, I think, December 7th. Let me look at my calendar. December 7th with another live episode. But there's always something in this time slot. Even when we're not live, we've got a replay. So there's something for you to see. So don't feel like you're going to miss out. But yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all the viewers tonight. We had probably 2 or 3 times as many viewers tonight as we normally do, which we really appreciate. And thank you also, to Mike for coming on and Rob for being here every week. Really appreciate all of that. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, that's a lot to be thankful for, and we really appreciate that.
It was good to meet you, Mike. Great
You
show,
bet.
Mike.
Well, thank you.
Have fun at the show this weekend.
Yeah,
definitely. As always, last word goes to Amsoil. Have a great one, everyone. Enjoy your holiday.
See you guys.
Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good. Mike, yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Now, today, we're going to be talking about Amsoil. And in a few moments, we're going to show you how you can get the deepest discounts, free shipping, and free gifts when you order your Amsoil products through us. But first, I'm going to ask Rob to give you a quick description of what Amsoil is and why you should consider using Amsoil products in your motorized vehicles.
Thanks, Mike. Amsoil is 100% synthetic oil. Everybody uses Amsoil for a different reason. Some people like the benefits that Amsoil is warranted for 25,000 miles or 1 year. The reason we can do that is because Amsoil doesn't oxidize. It doesn't form the usual carbons, gums, sludges like petroleum oils do. That's why we can keep it in the engines longer. Petroleum oils never do wear out. They oxidize themselves. That's why they have to be changed at 3,000 kilometers. And Amsoil likes the benefit that you only have to change the oil once a year. That saves some money. Some of the people like the benefit of Amsoil is it's a slipperier type lube. By having a slipperier type lube, it cuts down friction and drag. By less friction and drag, engines run 20 to 50 degrees cooler, better gas mileage. Now, Amsoil says 25% more protection than the industry requires is in the Amsoil bottles. My average customer gets about 10% increase in gas mileage. That's a big savings.
Yeah.
And by cutting down friction and drag, for every 10 degrees you cut down the friction and drag, doubles the life of the engine. So by having the engine run cooler, it makes it last longer. Some people like the benefit of the range of the Amsoil. Amsoil's flash point is 425 degrees, and it pours at 50 below zero. Wow. If you ever tried petroleum oil when it's 10 below, it turns to honey. And in the summertime, petroleum oil thins out. And once it thins out, that's when it starts breaking down. So Amsoil is an all-season oil, can give you better gas mileage, longer engine life, less maintenance. It ends up being cheaper over a year's time running Amsoil than it is petroleum oils.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And Amsoil is available for pretty much any motorized vehicle, anything from lawn equipment, cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, motorcycles, snowmobiles.
Yep. And a lot of people phone me up and say, well, what's the benefit of our gear lube? Exactly what I told you about the engine oil. It pours in cold weather, it runs cooler, makes the equipment last longer. And they say, well, what's the benefit of the small engine? Same thing. Makes the engine run cooler, last longer, better performance. So it saves on all the applications that Amsoil has available.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, let's talk now. Hopefully this has convinced people to think about maybe joining us in the Amsoil experience. Let's talk about some of the discounts and free shipping and how that all happens. I'm going to pop a graphic on the screen. And yeah, by all means, if you want to talk people through how this preferred customer program works.
Amsoil has a number of different programs. One of our main ones is a catalog customer, where somebody can order directly out of our catalog. If they order out of the catalog, they order $100 worth, Amsoil will ship it right to their house. But our best program is our preferred customer. For only $10 for 6 months, you become a preferred customer, you save 25% on all the product. You order $100 worth, they're going to give you free shipping. You don't have to order a whole case. You can mix and match. Say you want 4 bottles of small engine, 7 bottles of 5W30, and a couple of gear loops. You can mix and match. You can order 1 bottle at a time if you want. There's no minimums, no maximums. By being a preferred customer, you save over 25% on all the products you're going to buy. Amsoil sends you extra gifts, $5 gift certificate on your birthday, $5 when you renew your account and stuff like that. So it's a good way to save on some of the products you want to buy.
For sure. Yeah, it's an incredible value. And this is the deepest level of discount that anyone can get when ordering Amsoil. Is that correct?
It is.
Wonderful. So let's take people through the step-by-step experience of placing an Amsoil order. Then that would include signing up for the preferred customer preferred customer program, so they can receive those deepest levels of discount. So let's go to the website. This is what the website's going to look like. These are some screenshots. Once you go to amsoil.com, there's a link in the description, or you can just type that into a browser, amsoil.com. This is the page you land on. At the upper corner of the page there, you see how I've circled in red. That is the link to click, the Join Now link. That will take you to the Preferred Customer Program page, where you can take advantage of all of these discounts and free shipping and everything that we've just been talking about. This is what that page looks like. In the lower right, you're going to click Join Now. This will pop up. You select the duration you'd like, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, and click Add to Cart. Now, once this pop-up goes away, you'll be back on the main page. And the upper left, you'll see where I've got that red arrow. It says Shop. Now you can start shopping for products, and on your very first order, you're going to get these discounts and the free shipping as long as it's over $100. You'll get all of these benefits right away. So once you click Shop, it's going to take you to the product page. There's different types of oils, lubricants, so on and so forth. For the benefit of this exercise we're doing now, I'm just going to click motor oil. It shows different types of motor oil. Let's click gasoline. Now this takes us to an item. It's their synthetic motor oil. And you can see the item there, and there's choices for different viscosities. But take a look at the price. Let's take a closer look. Let's zoom in. But if you've joined the preferred customer program first, you're going to automatically get the deepest levels of discount. That's what we're looking at here. You're saving $3.80 on that quart of oil. Instead of paying $16.29, you're now paying $12.49 for that quart of oil. That is the deepest level of discount you can possibly get. And then you just add the quantity that you'd like. You select any other items that you're thinking about, add them to the cart. And once you click Add to Cart for the final time, you're going to see this come up at the top of the screen. It's going to show your items and your the total that you're at so far. Pardon me. And then you just click View Cart in the upper right, and that'll take you to your cart. Take a close look here at the upper right. That blue box shows that you're getting free shipping. You're eligible for free shipping on this order because it's over $100. That little yellow box shows that you've got the preferred customer membership on your order. That gives you the deepest levels of discounts for the next 6 to 12 months. And then below that, you've got the items that have been selected. For the exercise here, I selected 9 quarts of the signature series, but that brings us up over $100 for the free shipping. We're saving $34.20. And if you're ready to finish, you click Checkout Now, and that takes you to this screen here. If you haven't signed up with an AMSOIL account at this point, just click in the lower right to create an account, create a new account. It's going to ask you for some basic information, name and those types of things. Now let's take a closer look. You'll see this gray shaded box. This is a very important box. This is going to ask you if someone has referred you to AMSOIL. And if so, please enter my name. My name is Mike LaPierre. It's spelled right there on the screen for the correct spelling. And also the referral number, 304-555-94. That's how you make sure that Rob and I get credit for this. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I have signed up for AMSOIL under Rob. So when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. So if you enjoy these podcasts that we're doing, this is a wonderful way to support the podcast, because when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit, and the commissions I make go directly toward offsetting the cost of doing these podcasts. So I thank you in advance for that, for using my referral number. I very much appreciate it. And once you've done that, you just go into the next screen to enter your payment information, and you're done. Now, once you've placed your order that's over $100, and that order includes your AMSOIL Preferred Customer Program, you are now eligible to get a free DVD from myself. Now, this is going to be either a muscle car DVD or a vintage snowmobile DVD. Use the email address on the screen, wkspodcasts@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know which DVD you would like me to send you, the muscle car or the vintage snowmobile DVD, and I'll get that right out to you. As you're typing in that email, in the subject line, be sure and type in capital letters, free DVD requests, so it stands out as I'm checking my email, and we'll get that right out to you. So I guess the last thing, Rob, that we wanted to talk about is if someone is considering AMSOIL as a business opportunity.
Yes. If anybody has a retail or a commercial account and they would like to buy directly from AMSOIL, just send Mike a line. He'll show you how to set up, and you can buy directly from AMSOIL. But if you are interested in starting your own part-time business, a part-time business that can grow into a full-time income, Mike and I will show you the AMSOIL marketing plan. AMSOIL has a large selection of products that cover almost every application. So it doesn't matter if you're into snowmobile, boating, or ATVing, or hot rods. We have an oil for every application. It's a fun type business that's I really enjoy doing. Where else can I go and have fun and make money doing it? And Mike and I are here to help you all the way along. If you need any help on how to promote or to find new accounts, we're here to help you.
For sure. So when you sign up under that number, this 304-555-94, you're getting Rob and I as a team. Now, Rob has been doing AMSOIL for 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. So he knows every aspect of this business, and he knows all of the ins and outs of the products. So he'll be able to help you with any kind of product questions or any kind of questions to show you the different business models that you can do with AMSOIL. And then the other thing that you get when you sign up under me is I've got a strong background in social media. So if you need some coaching on how to generate AMSOIL leads using Facebook and YouTube, I'm happy to coach you with that when you sign up under Rob and I. You get both of us as a team to help you, to coach you, to support you, whatever you need to get you off and running with this business and having fun with it. Like Rob said, it's an enormous amount of fun. If you're like Rob and I and you enjoy going to any kind of boat shows, car shows, motorcycle shows, snowmobile shows, anything with a motor, you like going to those shows, those events, those races, this is a great way to turn that into a income opportunity for you.
Yes. And just by wearing my AMSOIL hat at one of these events, people come up and ask me about AMSOIL.
Wonderful.
People don't know where to buy it, and I'm there to help them, show them where they can buy the products.
Perfect. Well, cool. Well, this is great. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we wrap it up?
AMSOIL's a fun business. AMSOIL's been around since 1968. It was the first synthetic oil to be AI approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's very early in the game too, isn't it?
Yes.
For sure. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for viewing. Hopefully, we've gotten you excited as we are about the AMSOIL products. We'd love it if you could join us either as someone who uses the AMSOIL products or to join the AMSOIL team as a business opportunity. And we thank you so much for viewing. Have a great day.
You have a good day.